you doing? I'm here to start the new Center of Soul Development. And we're going to try to help you develop a soul that you're happy with. We want you to look in the mirror and like you. No more working for a living, suffering your entire life, growing old, and not even liking yourself. You have this is more important. You have to make money. I understand. But this soul development, you really should see it as everything. Because it really is everything. I know it looks like worldly success and worldly money and worldly acknowledgement is everything to you, but you know you're going to die. You know you're going to grow old. And these things, they don't have to be bad. But if your soul doesn't develop, if you don't use the skills you have when you're young to help develop your soul, I believe in the end, life is going to get painful. For a very large percentage of people who grow old without soul development, life becomes very, very painful. The important thing to remember here is that people they call it unholy, and they call it probable cause. They say that when you were born imperfect. Yes, you were born imperfect. That was the design. And these souls were engineered to be born imperfect. Now, how are they born imperfect? You weren't given everything you need to gain your birthright as a Christ. You were not given everything you need. The question is, how do you gain those things? And and to know where you're going, you have to know where you started. And this is very key because people think racism is a bad thing. Oh, you're this color and you're that color. You have this problem. You have that problem. I understand. Um, but the real problem is that nobody knows the importance of soul development. They think that worldly success is the most important thing they can have, and it is not. Soul development is the reason you came down to this planet in the first place. It wasn't to get rich, it wasn't to brag about what you got. It was to figure out why were you here and what are you doing? And why you're here is to develop your soul. That's the real reason. What are you doing is you're earning your birthright as the Christ consciousness. Because you think these people out here, Three Eye Atlas, or all that, they're out there, they're out there waiting for you to develop so they can follow you. Because you are here to be the leader. This is the tough place. This is the front line of the war against hell. This is it. So what I have here, everybody was born with two of these four. Now, the reason, and these things are love, wisdom, strength, and understanding. Now, the first thing I want to say is, if you were born white, before there was any mixing of the races, you were born with love and you were born with wisdom. You were born with a deficit of strength and understanding. Now, if you were born black, you were born with strength and understanding. You were born with a deficit of love and wisdom. If you were born Spanish, you were born with two of them. I believe that was love and strength. But so you were born with a deficit of wisdom and understanding. That could be different. There's a lot of different Indians in different parts of the world, and they could have had any two of these, but everybody was just born with two, and they were born with a deficit in the other two. So you have to develop the first two you were given, which should be pretty easy because they come divinely natural to you. But the other two, if you pay attention to if you pay attention to your character and your wishes and you pay attention to your soul, the other two, and if you were born Asian, you were born with wisdom and understanding, but you were born with a deficit of love and of strength. So everybody's missing something. And that's what they call unwhole. Unholy, unwhole, same thing. You simply were not born whole. Original sin. That's what they mean by the word original sin. You were not born whole. That's the whole point. You were not born whole. This is to force you to show that you can develop. To show that you can figure out where you are, you can put the puzzle together, and you can come back into the light of your Christ consciousness. Now, love and wisdom, just throwing this in, love and wisdom came from the light. Strength and understanding came from the darkness. But you have to mix them both, because each one of us in one day goes through a revelation of light and a revolution of darkness. It's very important. A little esoteric, but very, very important. So every day you have to learn all four. And as you learn all four, you're going to find that your problem solving skills in a wide, vast array of different situations have advanced to a very high level. And you are able to solve a lot of different problems. Problems in relationship, problems in technology, problems in all types of strength, all types of different types of strength, mental strength, emotional strength, physical strength, all different types of strength. Spiritual strength, don't forget spiritual strength. Then understanding, and please don't underestimate understanding. Understanding is like wisdom, but it's a spiritual wisdom. It's very, very important. And the most important thing really is you can't, if you have to learn things in the darkness, they usually come with pain. If you want to learn things in the light, they usually come with contemplation. So you and it's study and hard work and figuring things out. You can only work in the light. Never forget that. And so if you were born with strength and understanding, you were probably born with a lack of love and a lack of wisdom. And gaining wisdom, like just doing basic math, could be very, very difficult, because you have to, but you have to put forward the effort. You have to put forth the effort. You have to, because you have to get over these bumps in order to be well balanced, so that you become whole or holy. It has to be demystified. It's not meant to be something unholy, like you did something wrong or you're evil. No, you're incomplete. You're unwhole. That's what it really means. So we can stop trying to terrify people with confusion. And so then I want to talk about each one of these a little bit. When you develop love, solving problems with relationships becomes much, much easier. And if you can't build relationships, well, it's just an essential part of human nature to be able to build relationships. If you can't build relationships, there's a deficit in your life, and you feel it every day. You can't find true love. If you can't find basic love, you certainly can't find true love. Wisdom, technology. Some people trust wisdom completely, because we all get caught up in one of these. One of them we're completely overwhelmed with, and the other ones we're just better off having before we make bad decisions in a lot of areas. So wisdom, the ability to build technological things, I'm very impressed with AI, but nothing's going to overcome the soul. AI, any technology, the soul will always be greater. You might not be able to see that now, but one day you will. Strength, nobody wants to go through life without strength. It becomes obvious. People who are not born with strength realize they need it when they're young, and they go out and get it, to be able to defend themselves, because you have to have love so that you can. Well, humans just work better on love, and that's coming from a soldier. So I'm just saying, not a loving. I wasn't born a loving person. I was born in war, but I learned that love is the real answer. For us, it's the only way it just works. And strength is just as essential. You need it, like I said, mental strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength, fortitude, resilience, um, the ability to withstand a lot of hits. Um, then understanding. Understanding is the way you spiritually travel. Um, it also gives you the ability to know the importance of what goes around comes around, and to know that, well, we're all in this together. Even though we're all in it alone, we're all in it together. I mean, they just have to balance out. And it's very important when you think about creation to realize all humans were created imperfect, unholy, with original sin. And this is the original sin, that you were not born a God like God was, because you cannot be born a God until you develop the experience on earth. So all these hard experiences, they're so important, and they give you the ability to teach other people in the future. So you might feel it's a lot or it's bad, but life is harder than it would be, because, well, we're in the middle of a spiritual rebellion. We're in the middle of a spiritual rebellion. These I mean, like, there are the people who took over the earth after Adam and Eve ate the apple, or the fruit of good and evil, the fruit from the tree of good and evil. Um, after they partook of that fruit, and it was a big deal for them to not take of that fruit. Hell ruled the earth, and hell has no intention on giving this earth back. So everyone here who's trying to do the right thing is suffering quite a bit, and we're required to help each other. That's the way for humans is to help each other, and when we're able to help each other, that's what all these spaceships out here are looking for. That's what they're waiting for us to do. When we show we can help each other, it's like, oh, now you can enter in, and we can leave the so-called quarantine zone we're in, since we're so terrifyingly dangerous, when we're just really just greedy and a little rapacious, and trusting the most greedy people amongst us, which is a mistake. But this is what we're trying to do, and this is what we have to do. And once you gain all four of these, you will know you're a different person. You'll feel like a different person. This is not a small thing to do. And once you this and you're whole, your prayers will certainly reach to heaven, and they will be heard. And all of a sudden you notice that you'll be able to communicate. And once you reach a certain level of power, you won't wonder if the divine beings exist, because once you get strong enough, they'll find you. You think they're not there, but believe me, they're watching everything they're doing. They're calculating everything that you do. Believe me. It's hard to believe when you're on earth, but I assure you, everything you do is being watched. Everybody knows everything you're doing, and they're waiting for you to reach a certain level of spiritual development. And if you're poor, I understand. I've been there, done that, and I'm not upset about any of it, because it just teaches you to be very, very tough. If you trust God, then you're going to survive. But if you don't trust God, or if you did so much evil where He doesn't care anymore, which you have to be careful with, then you just have to figure out how to pay those people back and get back on track, because this isn't a joke. You're not going to be all right like you think so. But we're going to wish for you to be all right. We hope your soul development goes well, because it's very, very important. And when you grow old, you'll be much happier when you develop your soul. It'll pay off in so many ways. You'll be spiritually wealthy. You'll understand. You'll be able to protect your children. Anyone you want to protect. You'll know things that other people don't know. You just won't regret it at all. And I just wish that you understand how important that is. And I just want you to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and like who you see. And the most important thing to remember about this is, the important thing is, you can improve any of these things or develop any of these things through meditation. If you meditate on something and contemplate it, Get used to using your brain, just not moving your arms, not moving your legs, not just thinking with your brain. Brain development is the foundation of increasing capacity. And once your capacity is complete, you can do so much more. But we start off quite imperfect. And through meditation, spiritual development, mental development, we can become something that you won't even recognize yourself. And 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 you'll be so happy with yourself. It's much more beautiful than you think it is. But when you first get started, it's pretty scary because everybody wants to stop you. But you can do it. And think, just when you meditate, think about whatever it is you want to develop in your mind. How you want to fix that or fix that. Think of your brain as a computer, and you're putting in chips, taking out chips, doing downloads and upgrades and whatever it takes to work on your computer that is your brain and make it a better, more powerful brain and become something that you won't even recognize. I wish you well and have a good day.